Ahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem, ma ba'd. Respected elders, brothers, friends, in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu, it is narrated that Kana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam ajwad an-nas wa kana ajwad ma yakunu fi Ramadan hina yalqahu Jibreel fayudarisuhu al-Quran fala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam ajwadu bil khayri min ar-rihil mursalati. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the greatest Sakhi among all people. He was the most generous of all people. And his generosity had no limits in Ramadan. When Jibreel alayhi salam would come on a daily basis and do door of Quran with him, read Quran to him and listen to him, so he would be so happy that he would give everything away, and his generosity would flow heavier than the heavy wind which is blowing, which takes everything away. What does the hadith tell us? Number 1 point, sakhawat, jood and sakha, generosity. A mu'min should be generous. He should be sakhi. He can't be bakhil. A mu'min can't be bakhil. Mu'min should always have a big heart. He should be generous. He should be spending freely on himself, on his family, on his relatives, on his neighbors, and on the poor and masakeen. Wherever he finds somewhere to spend his money, he should be looking to spend his money on others, being generous. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the most generous person to have set foot on the face of this earth. Even Hatim Ta'i doesn't come anywhere near Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Hatim Ta'i was a great Sakhi. His sakhawat is mentioned as the misal, an example. And he was great Sakhi. I read somewhere that he used to light fire like the Sakhi people. So at night they can see that there's a fire there and they can come there and he can host them. Many guests would come. So once a guest came and he prepared some food for him. The guest was not a guest, he was an assailant. He had come to kill Hatim Ta'i because some reward was promised to him. You must have seen the video the other day, a person stabbing the Imam in sujood. From the third saf he runs with a knife and stabs the Imam. There are people who have these types of grudges. May Allah give hidayat to them. Someone had a grudge against Hatim Ta'i and he mentioned a great reward for the person. If you kill him, I'll give you this. So he came and he pretended to be a guest. Now, in those days, people had sharafat in them. If they wanted to kill someone, they wouldn't eat their food. So Hatim Ta'i brought the food and he said, no, I can't eat it. I'll just rest. So why can't you eat it? He said, I know, I'm not allowed this meat. I only eat horse meat. So Hatim Ta'i, he thought that where is he going to get horse meat from? So Hatim Ta'i said, no problem, we'll give you horse meat as well. And he only had one horse. He went out and slaughtered that horse and cooked the meat and brought it for him. This is horse meat, eat now. So the person, he didn't know what to say. So he just burst into tears and he said, that's not the case. The reality is this. So Hatim Ta'i said, then no problem, here is mine, kill me, you get reward. No, I can't give you. You're such a Sharif man. I'm an old man, I'm going to die anyway, you're young, you get the reward, you can spend good life, come on, finish me off. He said, no, I can't do that. I can't, I'm sorry, my mistake. So Hatim Ta'i said, all right then, I'll tell you another thing. Tie me with ropes and take me to the person he will kill me and he will still get the reward. So he thought about it, said, all right. He tied his hands and he took him away. And he said, I brought Hatim Tai over here, give me my reward, you can kill him. So the person said, nah, you haven't tied him, you haven't brought him here, something else happened, tell me the reality. And he told him the reality. He also relented and he said, okay, I'm sorry, it was my mistake. I shouldn't have kept grudges with Hatim Tai, let him go. It's not right to kill such a nice person. So Hatim Tai, his generosity, sakhawat, is darbul misal. But Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam was more sakhi, more generous than Hatim Tai. He would give everything away. Imagine millions and he gives it out within a few minutes. Bahrain's mal comes and there's a heap of gold and silver in one corner of the masjid. He sits there and he starts distributing. He doesn't get up from there until he's distributed everything. Hunain, there was so much mal ghanimat and he gave everything away. To some leaders of the tribes, he gave one leader 100 camels. One camel today is approximately 3,000 to 4,000 riyals. 3,000 riyals. Chalo. So 100 camels kitne riyal ho gaye? 300,000. He give them away, go. And he gave everything out. Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam, throughout the last 4 years of his life after Khaybar, there was so many futuhat and so much wealth coming, but his life at the end was exactly the same as it was in the beginning. It was by choice. He preferred that life. He didn't want any money with him. He didn't want to keep anything in him. Imagine once he performed Asr Salah, he led Asr Salah. As soon as he did Salam, he jumped up and he went to his house. And then after a while he came back. Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, what happened? You don't normally jump up like this after Asr. We do. Some people here, as soon as you want Salaam alaikum, hot, out. Last one in, first one out. That's not the right way. You should sit in your place, read some tasbihat, zikr, azkar, dua, and then you say, Rasulullah, what did you do today? Why did you rush quickly? And he said, some mal had come, I had distributed everything. There was one raw piece of gold left in the house. I remembered it in my namaz. I didn't want that piece of gold to stay in my house for the night. So I went quickly and gave it out as well. Now I feel good. He never kept, we have bank balance. So he was the most generous person. Hazrat Maulana Bilal Sahib narrated this story that once the grandson of Hatim Tai, who had embraced Islam, met the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he said that my nana, my grandfather Hatim Tai, was so generous. He had 11 doors to his house. If a person came from one door and begged, he give him. Second door, give him. Third door, give him. If the same person came from all 11 doors, he would give them. He give him. He wouldn't say, "I'm just giving you now." So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's grandson said, "You are right. Your grandfather was very sakhi, but my grandfather was much more greater in his sakhawat. He only had one door. Someone came to ask, he would give him so much, he wouldn't feel the need to go to another door." And that was the reality. So Huzur Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam's sakhawat, amazing sakhawat, amazing, no limits to his sakhawat. And in Ramadan, it was extra special. His sakhawat had no limit. He was so happy. He was in a very good mood because every day Jibreel Salam is coming. He's working hard. He's exerting himself in ibadat and worship. Anything comes, immediately gone. Anything comes, immediately gone. Even not only his house, even in Baytul Mal, he would give everything away. Give it to keep it in Baytul Mal. He would distribute everything. So, we learn from here in Ramadan, we need to increase our sakhawat. Among our tilawat, our nafil namaz, our salatul tasbih, our other things, we need to be more generous. More generous. Spend on our families, spend on our children, spend on our parents, our relatives, our neighbors. If you know someone who's not well off, go. put some money in an envelope and give it to them. This is for you, use it. If some people come for chanda, then help them. So sakhawat should be increased. This is why inshallah from tomorrow we'll read some stories from the end of Fazail Sadqat. So we can understand how our aslaf were sakhi and what type of zuhd they had in them. They were zahid, they were ascetic, they were really, really kind-hearted, soft, gentle, generous people. And they used to also spend like Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to spend. We read some stories from there, inshallah, from Fazail Sadqat tomorrow. May Allah give us tawfiq to understand and practice on whatever we learn. Jazakumullah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.